Oh, there we go. There we go.
What's up, dude?
Hey, we made it. Yeah, we
We
did it.
made it, man.
Yeah.
The
Hey,
power of
how's it going?
technology.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm still figuring this thing out, but hey, I'm glad it worked.
Dude, I'm not technologically savvy. I know I do the Instagram stuff, but that's like the extent of my knowledge there.
It's so funny because I'm not
Yeah.
either. I mean, I'm just learning on the fly, and hey, I'm glad it worked out, and I got you on the line.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, dude.
yeah, you know what? So I'll just go ahead and introduce you. So Dr. Trevor Watson is a neurophysical therapist providing education for treating neurological injuries. And so just a little bit about that is I've been following his content ever since the beginning of my stroke recovery. So it's been amazing to have you on. You know, I really appreciate you coming on. But today he's going to be educating us on neurological rehab. So let's go ahead and welcome Dr. Trevor Watson. Give him some hearts, guys.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Thanks for the intro, man, and thank you for providing this platform for everybody as well. I understand you're a stroke survivor as well, and based off your profile, it looks like you're an aerospace engineer. Is that correct?
Yeah, you know, it took me a while. I finally got back to it, but I'm
That's
I'm doing
awesome.
light work right now. Yeah.
Hey, man, ease your way into it. You still got recovery and everything like that, so you gotta prioritize things for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
man, it's a fun platform. I've been a practicing physical therapist for 9 years, and like you recommend, or like you mentioned, I primarily focus on treating neurological injuries, and I love my job.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So I just had a question. What got you started in this field to help other people?
Yeah, I don't have like a really heartfelt story. I think it was
Hmm.
my mom. I've always been a good kid, but my parents really were like pushing us to like try to find a career that worked best for us. And I remember she gave me this book, and it had a bunch of different occupations on it, and it based things off of, like personality traits. And I would just read each occupation and just see like what personality traits matched with mine.
Hmm.
And physical therapy, I was like, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. That sounds like me. And I was like, I think this is the realm that I want to go with, because I feel like you have to have an outgoing personality, you got to be pretty high energy, and I kind of went with that route, and told her that that's we decided that's the route we wanted to do. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but I have a twin brother. We're identical, and he's also a physical therapist. He treats more orthopedic
Oh,
injuries, and he lives out in California. But yeah, so we went the route together, and I went the neurological route, and he went the orthopedic route, and so it's pretty fun, man.
that's so cool to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love your content. I mean, a lot of people connect, and that's why I can see your follower count. It's really
yeah,
high
man.
because you have good stuff. Yeah.
I've had some really good mentoring, and surround myself with a lot of people who are really intelligent in this field, and they've taught me a lot. And then you kind of grab that, and you create your own, like you use your own creative mind to try to come up with ideas that can be helpful for people, because like we know, everybody's stroke affects them differently, and so you kind of got to get a little bit creative with the way that you manage their care compared to somebody else. So you got to think outside the box a little bit, and that's kind of what the whole reason I started this platform was. I would come up with all these exercises, or even like the ones that you see more commonly, and I was like, man, I don't want to forget these, and so I was like, let me just start videoing myself doing them so that I have this database. And then my friend's like, if you're going to do that, why don't you just post it? And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how this all started.
So glad you did
Yeah,
that.
man. It's
Yeah.
fun.
So how important do you think it is for people like who have had stroke or like a traumatic brain injury? How important is it for them to exercise?
Oh, I mean, if there's anything that's most important, I'd say any type, not even exercise can be this really daunting word for
Oh,
people. So let's
okay.
just say
Good
movement in
clarification.
general, because if you had a stroke and you weren't exercising before, you might not want to start with this structured exercise program, but you do need to start moving. And so I have a pretty general rule of thumb. If you're sitting most of the day, you need to we have, if you have an iPhone, you can set a timer where every 30 minutes you're getting up for two. And if you don't have the ability to stand or walk, then do some sort of sitting movement, and we'll go over some exercises in a little bit. But um, sitting, if you create bad habits, so like sitting for too long, for a long amount of time, it's just like anything in the world. You have to do like incrementally move your body throughout the day, and it will help combat so many of those other issues that come along with having a stroke, like contractures, debilitation, reduced endurance, reduced strength. That's kind of my 2 cents there. So yes, exercise is extremely important, but just movement in general. It doesn't have to be like structured exercise, just movement in general.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything to educate us on the rehab?
Oh yeah, man. Kind of
Yeah.
like we
All right.
mentioned earlier, everybody's course is different, and you might see, somebody along the rehabilitation journey, you might see three different types of or three different therapists that give you different exercises. But as long as they're dosing it with the correct intensity, repetition, and doing something that's salient to you or that matters, you're going to make progress, regardless of what the exercise may be. I will say, like, I'm going to give advice on what I often prescribe for
Oh,
people, like as
yeah.
an exercise program or something. So like my top three would usually be some form of like resistance training. So like a big one that I do that seems to be applicable to a lot of people is banded side steps. I posted a video on most of these, but you get an exercise band, and if you're not ready for an exercise band, you can just do regular side steps. But you get an exercise band. You can do it around your knees, your ankles, or your feet, and you're just going to do side stepping back and forth. One, it's going to help target your balance a little bit, but it really primarily focuses on strengthening your hip abductor muscle, your gluteus medius, which is the side of your hip. And that kind of helps keep your pelvis stable whenever you're in single leg stance. So it's a really good muscle to strengthen for balance. So that's usually one that I give. The second one is if you have stairs at your house. I tell everybody, if you have stairs in your home, you basically have a home gym. And so anything you can do on your stairs is really good. I'll share all these videos on my story after this too, that because I've posted about these. But
Oh,
step ups, step taps, standing on the step and bringing one leg down and back up to work on like some eccentric control of your muscle. There's so many things that stairs can do for you, especially because for the most part, if you have hemiplegia, if one side is more affected than the other, you can kind of hyper focus on that side.
hmm.
The third one, well, hold on, let me touch on that real quick. So another thing is just because you have hemiparesis or if one side's more affected, don't neglect your strong side. So, because
Hmm.
that's going to be the side that's going to help you
I
the
did
most.
that.
And you want to keep it strong too, because you're more prone to arthritis if you're overusing that side and not making it strong enough. So you really want to kind of hyper focus on strengthening the muscles on your less affected side as well. So that's just like my little soapbox there. But yeah, so banded side steps, stairs. If you don't have the option of having stairs, I do consider like buying like a small aerobic step or something like, maybe 2 to 4 inches off the ground, just so you have that in your home. You can do some of those things. And then the third one is if you don't have the option of standing, if you're kind of, if you're wheelchair level and you just haven't gotten to the point where you're strong enough or capable of standing or walking, any form of sitting exercise you do is good. But what I recommend is just throughout the day, if your back is always supported by a backrest, you need to scoot up to the edge of your chair, right? Challenge your postural muscles just by sitting on the edge of your chair, with your seatbelt on and everything. Just by sitting on the edge of the chair and not supporting your trunk, you're challenging your trunk to help keep your balance, okay? So any exercise you do, don't do it with your back supported, do it with your back unsupported. So then you're, knocking out two birds with one stone. So that's a pretty general idea, but I would say the banded side steps, anything to do with stairs, and then seated activities, trying to take your back off the backrest and work more on like postural control there. That's along with like, a general walking or standing program. Like I said earlier, try to get up for 2 minutes every 30 minutes throughout the day. More than that is good, but that's a good starting point.
Oh, I really love that. It kind of touches for like people at different levels and stuff like that. And I know Gareth, he had mentioned something about balance. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
balance
sorry, I
point.
haven't even been reading the chat. Hi to everybody that's been talking to me. If you want to read off anything that anybody's
Yeah,
been
no,
asking,
no
feel free to do that
worries. Yeah,
too.
you can just yeah, you can just talk. I think that was the only thing that I saw. Oh, how do you recommend correcting hypertension of the knee post-stroke? That's what Drew Ben 31 said.
Oh, sure. Hyperextension of the knee. I actually have a full video on that. I'm gonna try to leave things pretty simple because I could go on for an hour lecture on hyperextension of the knee. What I'll do for you is I'll post a video that I recommend, and I have a really good caption on there that talks about hyperextension of the knee. So just to save time here,
Oh,
I'll
Perfect.
post
Yeah.
that in my story after this. And if you don't mind, let me we might need to keep a writing of some of the stuff I need to post. Well, I'll post some stuff about the stair activities. I'll post about my hyperextension ideas, and then what was the other one we talked about? We mentioned something else. Anyways, if y'all post
Yeah.
it in the chat, I'll make sure that I post it on my
Okay.
stories later.
Yeah. If you aren't already following him, just make sure you're following his page because he has a ton of content on there.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then also Poison Ivy 318. She asked, "What if you have spinal stenosis? Also, I had a massive stroke with thrombectomy."
Okay.
I know.
Poison Ivy, how are you doing? Yeah, spinal stenosis. So you're getting in. We're getting into. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, some things aren't just neurologic. You have orthopedic issues that go along with it. And so with the narrowing of your spinal canal, before I say anything, you got to make sure that you're cleared for your doctor for anything that I recommend. So
That's a good
things aren't going to change
point.
too. Things aren't going to change too much for you. Movement is still very important. So I'd say avoid exercises that cause excess pain for sure. If it's a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay. That's just your body adapting. But if something is painful, there's always ways that you can adapt it to get the same results. So,
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, always listen to your body too and
yep,
work with your doctor as well.
absolutely.
Let's Ayush she Jane asked, "What will be the best exercises for scoliosis?" Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm trying to see how to simplify this. So you can get two forms of scoliosis. You can either have structural scoliosis, which is just, your body was, developed this way, or functional scoliosis, which is, this kind of developed over time. Usually after a stroke, you develop functional scoliosis because your muscles are pulling a little bit more in one direction. For that, one, I recommend getting with a physical therapist if you haven't done rehab for it. That's my first recommendation. So a lot of stretching on one side, strengthening on the other side. Again, moving is going to be the key. A lot of this too is, exercise alone isn't going to fix everything. I want to believe that it will, but it really takes a collaborative approach with your MD.
Right.
Polypharmacy helps too, depending on what kind of medication you need. Exercise is one piece of the pie. It's a large piece of the pie, but you got to make sure that you're collaborating with your physician and everything too, because this really is a collaborative approach. So sorry, that's not the best answer for scoliosis. I'll try to come up with something else that I can do that doesn't take 30 minutes for me to talk about.
No, that's perfect. Especially in the beginning, I needed a lot of support with a team of people to help me as well.
Yeah,
So
man.
Agi Sano, he asked, "Any information to help foot slap?" I'm assuming foot drop. Foot.
Yeah. So there's a foot drop and foot drop, they're very similar. So I again, I'm going to defer to a lot of videos that I've made in the past, but I did make a full foot drop video, so I'll share some of that. And that's my best recommendation there is normally it's a result of weakness of your anterior tibialis muscle, which is your shin, the muscle right by your shin bone. If it's pure paralysis and you don't have any movement at all, you really need to consider some form of bracing, which you would kind of get through seeing your physical therapist or occupational therapist, whoever's doing that kind of care for you. Um, that's my recommendation there. And then if you don't, and if you do have movement at all, you just need to work on a lot of strengthening for that anterior tibialis muscle. But again, I'll post that video on my stories as well. They're going to get to see a lot of videos after this.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot.
Yeah.
There's a ton of content. Well, Dr. Trevor, it is 9:15. I'm respectful of your time, so we can start wrapping it up. Did you have any last remarks?
Yeah, I'd say one for all of you who are one. I appreciate your time, dude, and I know that you've been through a lot as well. So kudos to everything you're doing for the Instagram world and people that you're inspiring as well. I'm on doing this for 9 years. It is I could not ask for a better profession. I'll try not to get emotional here, but I couldn't ask for a better profession. I wake up every day very happy for what I do for people. I do think that I'm making a big difference on people's lives, and
Yeah, you are.
just know, like, as a patient, like, If you're we truly care about y'all. So like, I know we're busy just like everybody else, but like we truly care about you guys. And try to find somebody that's as invested in your life as you are. Cause I know that I am, and I know that people that I'm surrounded by are. So just keep pushing every day. I hope that my videos can continue to be inspiring and helpful. And yeah, that's my 2 cents there.
No, I really appreciate your time and your words. So someone Pax Paula says so much clips to see tonight. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and jumping on. I learned a lot myself, and I'm looking forward to consuming more content. So yeah, I'll be watching
That's
and
what I'm here
following.
for, bro. Yeah, it's nice connecting, man. We can do this again sometime. Just reach out anytime. I try to be more available for these things. I got 2 crazy kids running around the house and stuff. So
Hey,
on
I don't.
top of the full time
Yeah.
job, but I
Hey,
do enjoy doing
care
this stuff.
of yourself and your family first. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
bro.
appreciate it, Dr. Trevor. Yeah. You take care, huh?
Yeah, man. You too. All right. Have a
Okay,
great
I'll
rest of
post
your
this
day.
on all platforms so everyone can watch too.
Looking forward to it. I'll try to remember the videos that I'm gonna post, but
Okay.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
share those on the story now. But yeah, and you guys, follow both of us. We'll keep posting good content for y'all, and I appreciate everybody who joined.
All right. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Later, man.
Yeah.
You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.